What's up, everyone? Champions back again for another UFC predictions video. This time with a big card of the year, MSG, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Jack Della Maddalena defends his welterweight title for the first time against Islam Makhachev, moving up from lightweight to welterweight to get a second bout in a different weight class. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. And as well as Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili, Zhang doing the same thing for flyweight belt. It's some good stuff. I am very excited for this card, and we will absolutely get into it. But first, as always, we will go into what happened last week on the last card. So we can just get into that now. All right. It could have been way worse. It could have been way better, but I'm not going to complain too much. So we'll go through each one of them in fight order. First fight I went over, or I ended up betting. I outright said probably don't do this or bet anything on this. But I did say if you're going to bet anything, maybe fight ends by sub. I ended up letting the D-Gen take over, and I ended up betting fight ends by sub. And yeah, he subbed him. It was looking kind of dicey early on because McVeigh was honestly doing really good work in the clinch. But afterwards, after the clinch exchanges, Zachary's like, screw anything on the feet. I'm getting hurt a little too much. Let me get to the wrestling, and he got done and subbed McVeigh, who just had no sub game, it felt like. So no sub defense, no ground game at all, at least on the level of Zachary's. Zachary's made it look easy after he got to the ground, and yeah, that was what the fight was. Good performance by Reese. I don't know about 50K. I think that 50K should have went to Padilla or Uros, but it is what it is. Next fight I had a bet on Miles Johns plus 3.5 over Daniel Marcos. I don't know what the hell that was from Johns. He looked honestly not very good. I couldn't believe he got subbed. That was Marcos's first sub. And not that I'm surprised he got taken down necessarily, but him getting subbed is like, come on, bro. Doesn't happen with you. To you. I mean, props to Marcos. He was given something and he took it. I don't think Marcos necessarily looked that great, and I wouldn't even say Miles Johns like did anything to make me feel great about him. So it is what it is. Next fight I had a bet on Tisha Pennington plus 3.5 over Denise Gomes, and I also had money line bet on this as well, very small. And I also had money line bet on Johns. I forgot to mention that, but again, very small. Yeah, Tisha looked bad, not like how we know her to be. It wasn't very close. Like I said, like for this breakdown, she fights close with girls, and she didn't really fight close with Tisha, Denise Gomes, who, I mean, there's a big power advantage. And like that, Tisha just was hitting a bunch of air. It was so sad to see, and I maybe would have bet like Tisha a lot more if I hadn't seen her last fight against Pinheiro, which is like, it did scare me. It did scare me, and I was rightfully like scared off of putting like some real money on Tisha. So I'm very happy I didn't go crazy with Tisha Pennington here. I mean, credit to Denise. I thought she looked really good, and I mean, Tisha didn't really have much for her, so. Sad to see. She's not the same girl as she was. She probably still good enough to beat some girls, but yeah, it's sad to say. Yeah, credit to Denise Gomes. Next fight I had a bet on. Which fight? I think it was Josh Hokett to beat Maxi Menace. This is my biggest bet of the card. Josh Hokett made it look easy. It was a very good bet. I'll tell you what. Josh Hokett just got rid of this guy in no time. It was easy work for Josh Hokett. No problem at all. So yeah, credit to Josh Hokett. Did what he had to do. Yeah, didn't even need to use wrestling. So I think he's got some capacity to do some things in this division just because he's like a wrestler, not necessarily because he's like that great or anything like that, but just having a wrestling background really does make a difference at heavyweight. So yeah, they make him versus Walter, and they give him like big dog odds. I'm willing to take a shot on him. I think he's got a chance. Stay away from heel hooks by staying inside control. That's all I ask. But yeah, a good one from Hokett, even though Jimenez is just nothing crazy. Next fight I had a bet on, I believe, is Myron Bueno Silva versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I had Bueno Silva finish only, voiding goes the distance. It went the distance. I get my money back. Cavalcanti thought looked pretty good, but at the same time, I thought MBS looked horrible, terrible. She looked terrible, and she is she's not a good fighter. I've never thought she was. I thought she was the only one with finishing equity here, and I would have taken back this bet because she was getting lit up on the feet. But Cavalcanti just can't finish anyone. Just kind of crazy. But credit Cavalcanti, I thought she looked really good. So yeah, good stuff from Cavalcanti. The next fight I had a bet on, I believe, was Ricky Simone to beat Ione Barcelos. Ione Barcelos ended up winning. I think that was the fair decision, the right decision. If Ricky got the win here, I would have made a good amount of money on this card. But it is what it is. You didn't get it done. Ione just landed the better shots in rounds 2 and 3 after round 1, where Ricky, I thought, did enough to win the round. Ricky just wasn't able to land the shots needed. And Ione was so much cleaner, so... Credit to Ione. I thought he looked pretty good. So, credit to him. Old man still got it. The next fight I had a bet on, believe, was Christian Leroy Duncan to beat Marco Tulio. What a great bet. This is a great bet. CLD, man, he's really good. He is really good. I do think that the more extended time training with Team Renegade, with like Leon Edwards and those guys, I think there's just blossoming his game to be something really good. He's got such high potential. I hope he's able to meet it, because I think CLD is the truth. Maybe a little still spins a little too much, but I mean, that's how his game is, and I think like he's really good at the spins and stuff like that. A lot more than like other people just force spins just to force spins. Like, his range management is beautiful. I love the clinch work he showed in this fight as well against Tulio, and I mean, he slept them. He slept them with the straight. Wasn't even a spinning attack this time that necessarily slept the guy. So good developments in this game, in my opinion. Love to see it. Good man CLD doesn't let me down. The next fight I had a bet on, I believe, I think it was Ismail Bonfim versus Chris Padilla. This is another fight where I said don't bet anything. And I did. I ended up doing it. The reason why I did it is because Ismail missed weight, but I didn't think it was like the worst weight miss ever. And like, I saw this number go crazy, like go to a point where it was like, I'm willing to play it. I played the -3.5 because I didn't want to play his money line, because in my eyes, if he faced any adversity, and I said this in my breakdown, if he faced any adversity, he's going to crumble. He needs to fight a pretty perfect fight. I bet on him to fight like a perfect fight, -3.5. And he didn't. He gassed out, faced adversity, got finished. So I had played better odds for a guy I thought was just way better, and he got finished. There's no shame in that. I'm not super mad I ended up going with this bet, because I thought Ismail Bonfim was looking really good early on, but it wasn't his day. It wasn't his day, and he got beat up by Taco. A guy I keep doubting, but I mean, fair play to Taco. He looked really good. Next fight I had a bet on, Uros Medic versus Muslim Salikov. This feels so good. It feels so good. I didn't fall for the Muslim Salikov anything. I was on Uros Medic from the start. Yeah, Uros knocked this dude out. Easy. The age has been here for Muslim. It's not like this is an all of a sudden thing. Like, he went life and death with chinless Ponzi, and he didn't hurt Ponzi. I had a lot of belief in Uros here. I wish I put more on him, but I mean, I there's a point where it's like I don't want to play like chalky KO money on Uros, but once it hit +100, I was like, I have to. This is getting ridiculous, because Uros Medic hits insane. He's got different power in those hands, and he showed it off on Saturday night. Looked great. Very proud. He's one of the reasons why I got money on this card. So very, very happy about my guy Uros Medic. And the next fight I had a bet on was Joseph Morales to beat Matt Schnell. Easy work at the office. I really don't know why Schnell went for a takedown. Dumb. Honestly, really dumb. Why did he do that? He put himself in a terrible position when Morales was just such a way better jiu-jitsu player than Schnell, and subbed him easy. Go work for Bopo. You look great. And the next fight I bet on Randy Brown to beat Gabriel Bonfim. He gets finished in round 2 by Bonfim with a beautiful knee. I think it goes to fair stoppage by all means. And yeah, like I didn't think Randy. I thought the game plan for Bonfim was really good. But he attacked the legs early, and Brown didn't have a chance to really address them. I thought it would be going more Brown's way as the fight goes on longer, but didn't have the chance to. So I mean, really, credit to Bonfim. I thought he looked pretty good. So yeah, those were the bets on the card. We'll just go over quickly the other fights that happened on that card. Which isn't that many because I think I had bets on most of them, to be honest. I didn't do great picks wise though, by the way. So for not as great picks wise, I'm happy the bets ended up going pretty well. Jamal Emmers beats Hyder Emil. I was like not confident in Hyder Emil by any means, but I was like, I think he's gonna draw him possibly later in the fight. But I knew Jamal Emmers is just so much better as a fighter. He's just such a better fighter, and he showed it. The wrestling was all day there. So yeah, Hyder didn't have an answer to that, and yeah, easy win for Jamal Emmers. I'm really happy I didn't bet anything on it, and yeah, that's it. So now let's get into this card. You can see I've already made my picks on this, so I'm doing a redo of this video. So yeah, I can make better points than I did, and I can do a little better, I feel like. So yeah, let's get into it. Vyacheslav Borshev versus Mateus Camilo. Sick fight. I like Camilo here. I think he's going to have all the wrestling upside here, but I'm not crazy about like the price or anything like that. I feel like I want to stay away. I think Mateus Camilo should win. It's a fight IQ test. If he wrestles, easy. If he strikes, he's dumb. Like you shouldn't be striking with Slava Borshev when his takedown defense is that bad. If this fight extends, though, I don't know. It worries me about cardio-wise for Camilo. I think he'll be fine because I mentioned Camilo was fighting on 321, the Aspinall Gone card, and versus Al Sawadi, and I talked about in my breakdown where Camilo got nose surgery. So possibly his nose is better. I was making an assumption, but I had a bet on Camilo. It's too bad the fight fell through. That there's a chance his cardio is better. That was at plus money. This is now at minus money, where it's like it's a little bit of an unknown. And he has been pretty underwhelming for the most part. It's just making assumptions about him growing as a prospect since he is so young. I do ultimately think he will get it done. But I mean, I will say I am very worried if this fight goes longer. If this fight somehow makes it long, what's it going to look like? I'm very worried about it. So no thanks for me betting wise. But Camilo should be able to get wrestling done and no problem. I'm going decision because I think Borshev's tough. It is short notice. Like that's worrying. It's more short notice for Borshev because Camilo had that switch up from 321. Fight fell through. Now he's on this card. Now Slava is actually like super short notice here. So I think that's a worry, and that goes against Slava. But yeah, I do think most things favor Camilo here. I think they want him to get a win. Next fight of the card, Bissinger Susakayev versus Eric Makhachev. I'm going to go with Susakayev round 1 KO. I'm usually the type of guy who would be saying, oh, Susakayev round 2, round 3 KO. He plays with his food. And that's absolutely true. He does play with his food. Here's the problem. Eric Makhachev's chin is so bad that I think Susakayev's just going to accidentally KO him. He's going to accidentally KO him. And he's like, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to finish this guy so quick. That's kind of how I think it will go because Makhachev is just going to be like a little scared. Like I think it's going to be reminiscent of the Ruzaboyev fight where he's just kind of standing there trying to survive and Susakayev just does a little too much and he's done. So yeah, I think Susakayev, pretty easy one here. He's those disgusting odds because of it. But I will say, because he is willing to play with his food and stuff like that, do not play round 1 KO Susakayev. I beg of you, do not do it. You might hate yourself if you do it. You might hate Susakayev if you do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Not that round 1. Play value if you have to. Play if you really want to KO or something like that. If you win like a parlay or something like that, don't do round 1 KO at those odds. It's disgusting. Don't do it. I mean, I have a hard time seeing how he doesn't KO Makhachev, and I really doubt he goes first up this time. So yeah, I think KO all day for Susurkayev. Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. If you've been following me, you know probably who I'm picking. I mean, maybe not, because I do like me some. I do like a lot, both these fighters a lot. But I like one of, I'm a kind of a stand for one of these, and that's Fatima Klein. Come on. You know I love Fatima Klein. I think she's going to run through Hill, and I think she's going to finish her. It's kind of a bold take because Angela Hill is pretty hard to finish. But, man, I think Fatima Klein's that good. She's probably better than Mackenzie Dern right now. Like, genuinely. She is that good, Fatima Klein. I think Fatima Klein has Angela Hill covered everywhere at this point in Angela Hill's career. I know I'm the kind of guy who says women's MMA fighters, they age gracefully. And that is absolutely true. And Angela Hill's aged gracefully until pretty recently. I'd say the Ketlin Souza fight showed some red flags. And fighting as close as she did with Ketlin Souza is like, ooh, Ketlin Souza is not a great fighter by any means. And that Lucindo fight was such a terrible look. She had nothing. And I think she kind of has nothing here too. I think Fatima is going to be faster, bigger, stronger striker, better striker. I think she's really good in the clinch. I think in those clinch, being bigger in the clinch is going to open up takedowns. I know people are going to mention like, oh, she didn't get takedowns against Melissa Martinez. Melissa Martinez is terrible. I don't think she was really going for those takedowns. She's not going to go for any takedowns unless they're there for her. Like, she's not going to force them, is what I mean. And like, if they come to her, she's going to go for them. And especially in a fight she's already winning on the feet, I don't blame her at all. I think she was doing just completely fine in that fight. I'm not worried about her takedowns or anything. And if she is on top, Fatima Klein's disgusting. Great ground and pound. Great submissions. Fatima Klein's the goods. She's the goods. She's got everything you need to do great things in this division. I think she's going to have a great time in New York, close by to where she trains with Erin Blanchfield. I think this is a time for her to show herself out in the UFC. Gets another finish against someone who's pretty durable and doesn't get finished. So, yeah, bold task for Fatima, but I think she can do it. Next fight up the card, Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini. My enemy, Chepe Mariscal. Yes, I'm going against him again. Give me Pat Sabatini. I'm going to go decision. I don't think Chepe is going to give up a finish, but, I mean, it could. And I mean, Chepe could knock out Sabatini because Sabatini's chin is just, it's bad. It's bad. But I think it's going to be similar-ish to their first fight. This is a rematch. But I think Sabatini's grappling and control is a lot better than it was back then. So, I mean, I think if Sabatini gets Chepe on the ground, which I do believe is going to happen, and Chepe's always grappling in these fights, he always is, I think Pat Sabatini is going to get top position and work Chepe there. So, that's ultimately what I think is going to happen. I like him here. I think he should get this done. I have bet on him as well. So, yeah, Pat Sabatini, give it to me. I'm not going crazy with it betting wise, but yeah, I think Sabatini should get this done. Gerald Mearshart versus Cal Dawkins. I'm going Cal Dawkins, and I'm going to be a little bold and say sub round 3. Why? Because I think this is a passing of the torch fight, and it's a little different from the grain from the KO. I think people are looking too much into that Michel Pereira KO. By all means, impressive as hell, because Michel's like, I don't think he's ever been KO'd. That was Cal Dawkins' first one ever. But that's just, I don't think that's who Kyle Dawkins is still. I don't. I know GM3 is like finished physically, and I completely agree with that. Absolutely agree he's finished physically. But like, still, Kyle Dawkins isn't that kind of guy. I still don't believe. And what worries me about this is like, I'm worried Kyle Dawkins falls in love with the hands to the point where he just goes all out in like early rounds. And because of that, it can start going downhill from there. And you don't want to be going downhill like that against GM3. That scares me. So, by no means am I suggesting anyone play Dawkins moneyline or even parlay him. Nothing like that. And, something I do like, though, I do think fight ends by sub is a pretty good look, honestly. Because, I mean, they don't call Kyle Dawkins the Dark Knight for nothing. He can get subs and absolutely can club and sub, GM3, hurt him, go down the ground, sub. And I think both these guys can get subs at any point in the fight, like in rounds 1, 2, 3. More likely 2, 3 for GM3, and I think Doc gets the whole way through. Yeah, I think fight ends by sub is a pretty good look. Even with GM3 being as finished physically as it is, I think Kyle Dawkins will be able to find a way to get him on the ground and latch up a sub. So I think fight ends by sub is a pretty good look, and I'm probably gonna play a little bit on it. So yeah, and I mean, if you want to be like, if you really want to go with the passing the torch angle, round 3 sub Dawkins. I mean, hey, or just fight ends round 3 maybe. That actually might not be that bad of a look. But yeah, I'm not doing that, by the way. So fight ends by sub. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. Let me get into why I like Haddon here. Because Cody Haddon is him. He is him. I love me some Cody Haddon. I think he is special. I was convinced after his last UFC fight against Dan Argueta. And you might be asking, man, Dan Argueta's not that great. I get it. But I think he presented a tough stylistic fight for Cody Haddon. And Cody Haddon passed with flying colors. He impressed me so much. He is basically JDM at 135. And man, that's a dangerous sight to see. Great combos. Great pressure. Great, like, really good cardio. He just puts it on dudes. And he's got the wrestling, grappling, the back. He's the better all-around fighter here, I really do believe. Not that I think Malcolm Wellmaker's terrible by any means. He's got the death touch. He could KO anyone. He could KO Haddon, of course. But man, this dude Haddon is disgusting. And I think the pace he puts on Wellmaker, I think the pressure he puts on Wellmaker, if he backs up Wellmaker like I think he will, I think Wellmaker's going to have a tough time. And as a result, I think he's going to be able to push him up against the fence, get takedowns, get control points during the fight, and work on Wellmaker. So, yeah. And some things I also like, Cody hadn't asked for this fight. Once Sergey Sadi, who was originally supposed to fight Malcolm Wellmaker, he pulled out. Cody Haddon and his team called the UFC, asked directly for this fight. And they have been training for just any fight on these last few cards of the year. Like, because they wanted to be active, but they had no opponent. They got this fight, and now they started to prepare for Wellmaker. So I don't think it's necessarily like he's going to gas or anything like that. I think he's going to be ready. I'm not worried about that. I think he knows he has to push a pace, and he's going to. I'm worried about the calf kicks. I will say that, because Argueta's kind of getting him with those, and Wellmaker does have good ones, good calf kicks as well. And of course the power. Always have to worry about the power with Wellmaker. And of course, I mean, I know people bring up the Wellmaker. Oh, doesn't have a job anymore. He's now a full-time fighter. You can say that same about Fatima Klein, who just did that too. I forgot to mention that, but like, good. That's good. But and I think it's at Syndicate MMA, which is a good gym. It's a good gym. I like Marab and folks. But I'm not getting off. I think Cody Haddon is such a complete prospect right now. I have questions about Wellmaker. He could answer a lot of them here. I'm not sure how he's going to look deep in a fight when someone like Haddon is pushing that pressure, and he got some hands himself, and he's had an all-around game. This is by far the best fighter Wellmaker's ever fought. Probably the same thing for Haddon as well. I mean, actually, maybe not, because Haddon's fought Steve Ercek to a really close fight. Like, that's super impressive. That guy fought for a world title, and he fought super close with Cody Haddon. Or Cody Haddon fought super close to Steve Ercek. Impressive as hell. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cody Haddon. I think he gets the job done. I like him here. I think the dog odds are nice. Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez 2, the rematch. I thought the winner of this fight right now should have won the first fight, which is Aaron Blanchfield. That fight was pretty close, but I would have edged it to Aaron Blanchfield, and I think she's gotten way better since these two have fought. They both have gotten better, but I think Aaron Blanchfield's gotten a lot better. Why I like Aaron Blanchfield here is because I think she's going to be doing more. That's the whole crux of it. She's going to be doing more volume, more threats on the ground. In their first fight, she had like a pretty nice armbar attempt. I think she's better now with her jiu-jitsu and she's more dangerous, especially if Erin Blanchfield's the one on top. Oh man. Oh man. Danger, danger, danger. And that sub is absolutely live by all means. I wouldn't be shocked if she gets a sub on Tracy Cortez. She's like the New Jersey girl, so New York close by. I think Blanchfield's going to come in here and kind of run through Tracy Cortez. Just push that pace on her and work her to the bone. Erin Blanchfield's a really good fighter. And I think this is a pretty good matchup for her. And especially, I know I've been like kind of critical of Erin Blanchfield in their past few fights. Not that I didn't even pick her answer against Rose. I picked Erin Blanchfield to win that fight. But like against Manon Fiorot, I was very, very confident Manon to win that fight. Against Macy Barber, I was going with Macy Barber, but I do think now she's going to be making a good amount of strides in all parts of her game. She is of course still super young, still making those improvements in her game. Yeah, I think Erin Blanchfield's going to win. I think she's pretty damn good. So give me Erin Blanchfield. I think a sub is super live. I don't think that's a bad prop bet by any means if you want to go in that direction. And yeah, I think Erin wins. I think money line's a fine way to play this fight as well. So yeah, Blanchfield. Roman Kopylov, Gregory Rodriguez. I'm going to say this right off the bat. Do not touch this fight. Stay away, stay away, stay away from me. Complete stay away from me. Why? I was super high in RoboCop last time against Jack Hermanson. Why? Because I knew he wouldn't KO RoboCop. There was no way in hell Hermanson's KOing RoboCop. And because of that, I mean, it was all RoboCop. He should win that, no problem. And he did win that, no problem. Here's the difference. Roman Kopylov can absolutely hit one head kick and RoboCop's out cold. I want nothing to do with it. I am ultimately going with RoboCop because I did like the strides he made in his defense last time in that Hermanson fight. Still, I know he got busted up and stuff, but he was more patient, moving the head a little more. You love to see that. And so I think he's going to try and keep himself like not as in danger. If he has all the capacity to grapple here, it should be easy if he finds a way to get this fight on the ground. And I mean, he should sub him, but he doesn't sub anyone for some reason. So yeah. But man, Kopylov's a disgusting striker, man. He absolutely can snipe RoboCop. Like, I'm not trying to get in the way of Roman Kopylov. So yeah, I do ultimately think RoboCop will be able to get the grappling going and win like that, but no thanks. Pass for me. If you think Roman Kopylov wins, KO. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. I am going with Bo Nickel. I'll tell you what I really like. The overs. I think this fight's going to go long. I think it's going to be kind of boring, to be honest. I think Bo Nickel's going to enter his Mike Malott arc. And what I mean by that is after the Magny fight that Mike Malott had, it's kind of been... Well, I'm talking about the fight directly after that. When he fought Trevin Giles, let me just keep it easy and make sure I get a win. That's how I feel like Bo Nickel's going to fight this fight. He's going to not go super crazy, fight a smart fight, and win. I like Nickel. I think they gave him this fight for a reason. Rodolfo Vieira is a top player. What is Bo Nickel not going to do? Give up top position if he's fighting safe. Bo Nickel is going to not go for any guillotine. Dude, that'd be crazy if he does that again. No way. He's going to camp half guard and win the fight if he wants. It's a stand-up fight, it's going to be close. You're not going to like it at all. But I think Bo Nickel will ultimately get what got him here to the dance. He's going to wrestle here. He's going to take top position. He's going to hold it there. People are not going to like it. People are going to call it boring. And I think Bo Nickel is saying, screw you guys. Because after his last fight where I remember him talking about, I went for the guillotine because I want to try and go for finishes and stuff like that. And he's like, then he's hearing all this backlash, like, screw going for that. All that matters is wins at the end of the day. That tells me he's just going to go in, do what he needs to do to win without any risk and get it done. Get back in the win column, no problem. Yeah, I think Bo Nickel decision. I like Bo Nickel decision. I like the overs. I think those are good ways to play this fight. Yeah, give me Bo Nickel. I like him here. Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. Give me Benoit Saint Denis, KO round 1. I was on Benoit Saint Denis when he beat Rufy. That felt great. Shout out Nicholas Ott, one of the best coaches in the game, who's now Benoit Saint Denis' coach. Shout out to Beneil Dariush for that win against Renato Moicano. I bet on him there. Oh my god, that was a little bit of a sweat. If this was a younger Dariush, completely different case, but his chin is finished. He got dropped by Moicano. I don't trust it against a guy like Benoit Saint Denis when I know he's going to push a pace. I don't know if Beneil Dariush is going to be able to handle a pace like that Benoit Saint Denis is going to push. I don't think Benny is going to be able to take the same shots that Benoit Saint Denis throws. Benoit Saint Denis does have a really good chin, so I think Benoit Saint Denis is just going to swamp Dariush and get him out of there. I think Benoit Saint Denis ITD is a great look. I think Benoit Saint Denis KO is a great look. Those are the ways I think it happens. Sure, a sub is possible, but I highly doubt it because Dariush is really good on the ground. But the KO, BSD should be KOing Beneil Dariush at this point. So, yep, I think that those are good looks. Moneyline's probably all right as well. But yeah, that's why I like Benoit Saint Denis. Next fight of the card, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. I'm excited for this fight. But I'm not expecting it to be very entertaining. And that might tell you who I think wins. Give me Leon Rocky Edwards. I think he's going to win this fight. I think Leon is severely underrated after his last 2 outings. And I think I understand why. I understand why people are down on Leon. But Leon's a really good fighter, man. People are forgetting this dude. Are we forgetting what he did to Bilal in round 3? Choked the back, held him there. No one has ever done that. Choked down Colby Covington. Yeah, maybe you could say Colby was washed. Okay, I understand. But he did take down Kamaru Usman in his prime. In round 1. Fresh. That says a lot. I think he has a great ability, great capacity to wrestle Carlos Prates. I do. I think he's going to have all the advantages there. I know people were trying to be like, Ian Gary wasn't able to really do it too much. Ian Gary was on short notice, to be fair, while Carlos Prates was preparing for Jeff Neal on UFC 314 and then had that 5-round fight opportunity while Gary was just completely short notice. And I think, what's it, Mitch Ramirez or something like that from Dana White Contender Series, the last guy to try to take him down. I think there's levels, and I think Ian Gary's control is not necessarily the best. I think Leon Edwards' control is a lot better. I mean, being able to taking the back of Bilal Muhammad says a lot and keeping him there. Leon Edwards is really good, man. And his striking is good too. Like, I'm like somewhat scared of Carlos Prates' striking, of course, because he's got crazy deadly power, but Leon is so clean and technical. And what I think is going to happen because of how clean and technical Leon Edwards is, it's going to be a staring match. I don't think there's going to be much happening between either of them on the feet. And those are the type of fights that Leon Edwards thrives in. He is so good in those types of fights. I think in the clinch, Leon Edwards is so underrated. Those elbows he hits is mwah, mwah. It's a beautiful thing. Leon Edwards is a really good fighter, man. And yeah, I think he's gonna get the comeback win against Prates. I think Team Renegade's back on a roll after the CLD win. Training with CLD, who's I think is a pretty good guy to you can emulate a little bit of what Carlos Prates has to bring to the table. Yeah, I think Leon Edwards gets it done here, and I think he's going to get it done with the wrestling. Probably won't be the most exciting fight ever, in my opinion. I think if it goes how I think it does. But I think Leon Edwards is going to do what he needs to do to get himself back into title contention talks. So yeah, give me Leon Rocky Edwards to get the win. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. I am so very little confidence in this. Pass for me. Pass. I'm going to go with Sean Brady. I think he's fought the better guys, and because of that, I think he's just more ready for this moment, I think. Michael Morales, I think, is really good. He's got championship potential, absolutely. He's got a wrestling background, by all means. I get that. And he hits like a truck, and he's an athletic specimen. There's no denying that. I think Brady's going to be tough enough and find the way to get the takedowns he needs to, or to get a takedown and hold top position, do what he needs to do to win. That's what I think, but I'm really not that confident in it, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna sit back and relax and let this fight play out. One thing I was thinking about playing was like overs, like some kind of like over a fight goes, but I look at the lines and they're disgusting. Like I think both are gonna be tough enough to not get finished, but I mean at these odds, I don't want anything to do with it. Because both dudes have finishing potential. Morales probably on the feet, Brady probably on the ground, but yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I think this is a really sick fight, and it's just I have trouble predicting it. So I ended up going with Brady, another Philly boy win with Pat Sabatini, but yeah, it's kind of who knows. And Michael Morales' chance to show us who he is at this young point in his career, because he's so young, man. This guy has all the future in the world. This guy is probably a future champion, to be honest. He absolutely is, because I mean we've seen a great chin so far, all the athleticism in the world, and I mean he has some wrestling of its own. If he can out wrestle, out maneuver Brady, this guy's a killer. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili, banger fight. I'm gonna go with Valentina Shevchenko. I think she's gonna win this fight. The reason why I like Valentina here is because I think weight classes matter. I do think it matters. Not that I'm saying Zhang Weili is necessarily like going to be a small flyweight by any means, but Valentina Shevchenko's fought the bigger girls. She just fought Manon Fiorot. Manon is the biggest girl in this division by far, in my opinion, the toughest matchup for Shevchenko. I think if Manon Fiorot was in the spot instead of Valentina, she'd run through Zhang Weili, run through her. Not necessarily finish or whatever, but like it'd be pretty easy work, in my opinion, because I really don't know what Zhang Weili does in that kind of fight. Valentina Shevchenko, not necessarily the same girl she was, but I think she's still very serviceable, and I think she's been fighting the better girls in general. And if you look at the girls Zhang Weili's been wrestling, I'll get to Tatiana Suarez in a minute, but like Yan Zhaonan, Amanda Lemos, like those girls, her title defenses, girls have been wrestling them so easy. They have been. It's just the truth. Then Tatiana Suarez, I think she's finished durability wise and like physically. She destroyed there. So like as that fight went on, she was just kind of done. I don't think Valentina Shevchenko's anywhere near that point in her career right now, even if she's older, not the same girl she was. And to fight as close as she did with Manon Fiorot and like still be able to win, that was close. Maybe she could have lost even, but like I value that so much, and I think Valentina gets it done, man. I think she is the truth, and yeah, I think she's going to get it done. I think the wrestling is going to be there for Valentina. I don't think Zhang Weili is going to be like, I know people are going to think she's going to have a lot of volume. I don't think she will. I think it's going to be a pretty tit for tat striking match, because that's what Valentina Shevchenko forces these girls into always. And Valentina's such a good striker. She's so good at making people fight her fight. So yeah, I'm going to Shevchenko. I like her here. I have money on her. I think she gets the win on Saturday night. And still. Now the main event. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Banger fight. Who do I think wins? I'm going to say it again. I think weight class matters. Give me Jack Della Maddalena. Round 3K. I'm gonna go round 4. I'm gonna go round 4 actually. I think it'll come a little later in the fight. So give me round 4 for Jack Della Maddalena. But this really is a banger fight. The reason why I like Jack Della Maddalena in this fight. Okay, that was weird. Recording's still on. I was weird. My computer just paused. Besides the point, JDM, the reason why I like him here is because I think later this fight goes, the longer this fight goes, which I do think this fight goes later, I think it's going to be all JDM. I think Islam absolutely going to be able to take him down. I mean, who does Islam not take him down? But I think JDM will be able to scramble. I think his scramble ability is pretty insane. He's going to be able to get up. He's going to make Islam work. And I think that's going to be a problem for Islam. I think this fight will be won and / lost in the clinch. The clinch is going to decide this fight. I think the dirty boxing of JDM is going to bother Islam Makhachev. And I also think the size is going to play a factor. Not because Islam's necessarily like a small 170 guy. I don't necessarily think that, but it's like JDM is a lot bigger than the guys Islam has been fighting. I do think that matters. And like I think training with Craig Jones, training with Alexander Volkanovski, with JDM, I think that's gonna be helpful. He's got the right team around him to prepare him for this type of fight in a big stage like this. Like the biggest stage of them all, actually. And I think those body shots he hits on is going to hit on Islam as the fight goes on is going to be debilitating. It's going to be, I think it's going to be nasty. And what I love about Jack Della Maddalena is, man, his striking is just crisp. It is so crispy. He's able to stay in range to land his shots and then get out. And it's such good defensive work. And I think that's going to work. He's going to be able to find the shots he needs to on Islam. And again, especially as the fight goes on, where it's going to deep waters. And I think the more muscle mass that Islam Makhachev has put on, it might be like a little draining on them. So, yeah, I think JDM is here to stay as champ. I think that he's here to stay, man. This guy is the truth. I think his showcase against Bilal, being able to get up from against Bilal and do that as late as he did in the fight and strike with Bilal. Bilal's a pretty all right striker, man. He's a pretty nice boxer, to be honest. To strike like that, man, it's a thing of beauty, man. JDM is really good, and I think he's gonna get it done. And I think he's gonna be a later rounds TKO. I like those late round props for JDM. I like the money line as well. It might be better to bet him live, though. I will say that. Like wait a round or two. Islam gets a takedown. That's when you live bet. I think that probably is the best way to play him, to be honest with you. But yeah, I already have a bet on JDM, and probably live is probably the best look, to be honest. So, yep. Give me Jack Della Maddalena to get the job done. So let's go through each one of these fights again. Tell you my leans for significant strikes is more takedowns as well for each fight. Vyacheslav Borslev, Mateus Camilo. Interesting. Takedowns easily Camilo. Slava's not shooting no takedowns. 6 strikes, it could be interesting because I think maybe Camilo, if this fight's on the feet for like any sort of long period of time, it's going to be Borslev all day. But if it's like, I'm not sure if necessarily Camilo is going to be throwing too much on bottom, or on top, I should say, to the point where he would be landing 6 strikes. So I just want nothing to do with that. But more takedowns, definitely Camilo. Biceser, Susakayev, Eric Makhachev. Makhachev more takedowns because I don't see any world where Susakayev is going for takedowns here. More 6 strikes, Susakayev. Makhachev is just going to be low volume like he was in the Rusaboyev fight. I think it's going to be the exact same. Fatima Klein, Angela Hill. More takedowns, Fatima Klein. More 6 strikes, Fatima Klein. I think she's going to be outworking Angela Hill everywhere in this fight. Pat Sabatini, Chepi Mariscal. Another one similar to the Camilo Slavik fight. More takedowns. I will go with Sabatini. I don't think Chepi's going to be like super hell-bent on trying to take down Sabatini. More 6 strikes is interesting. I guess I'll go with Chepe because Sabatini doesn't necessarily like posture up and land the most shots. But, I mean, if you're put in that position the whole fight, it could be like I don't know. I wouldn't be feeling good. I wouldn't be feeling good about that 6 strike bet. So I'm going to nothing to do with that. More takedown Sabatini, though. Mearshart, Kyle Dawkins. Interesting. More 6 strikes. I would go with Dawkins. But I mean, like, again, if he, it scares me. I am going to go with Dawkins. But, like, I do get worried about him, like, just going balls to the wall, like, early on in the fight, and then just gassing, and then GM3 just throws a bunch. I'm not sure if he'll even overtake the amount of strikes he throws in round 1 against GM3 at that point. But I am going to go with Dawkins for 6 strikes. More takedowns. I guess I'll go with Dawkins because I don't really rate GM3's takedowns at all, to be honest. But I'm not crazy about that either. Not that I'm crazy about on this one, to be honest with you. Wellmaker Haddon. I think more takedowns. Haddon. I think it's a good look. I think he's going to be the one pursuing takedowns more so here. Maybe Wellmaker shoots one, but I think Haddon's going to be more interested in trying to get this fight in the ground rather than Wellmaker. Then more 6 strikes. I think Haddon, he's just got the more volume. So, yeah. Even if he gets KO'd really quickly, I think he still hit that 6 strike bet. Blanchfield, Gracie Cortez. 6 strikes, Blanchfield. She's going to be throwing more. I really do like that. Then more takedowns is interesting. I think I might go Blanchfield, but I mean, probably Cortez is probably the better wrestler. And I think maybe Blanchfield can get like sweeps and stuff like that to get him back on top. Although I don't think Blanchfield's necessarily out of the running and being able to take down Tracy Cortez, to be honest with you. And that's coming from someone who doesn't necessarily rate Blanchfield's wrestling as like the best thing ever. Kopylov, Rodriguez, takedowns, Rodriguez. I don't know why the hell Roman Kopylov would go for any takedowns here. More 6 strikes. Probably Kopylov if it's on the feet for a sort of extended period of time, because I don't really think RoboCop's going to be landing too much. But I want nothing to do with that, to be honest. More takedowns, RoboCop though, all day. Roman Kopylov is not going for no takedowns. Bo Nickel, Rodolfo Vieira. More takedowns, Bo Nickel. I like that here. I think he's actually going to go for some this time. Then more 6 strikes. It could be close because maybe it's on the feet. Bo Nickel's not necessarily the highest volume on the feet. I mean, he's just been like an overhand merchant, to be honest. So far, unless he shows some new developments. And Rodolfo does have like a jab, but I think this fight's going to be mostly on the ground. And if it is, maybe like some elbows would count. I don't want anything to do with the 6 strikes, but more takedowns, Bo Nickel. I like that a lot. Benoit Saint-Denis, Benil Dariush. More 6 strikes, Benoit Saint-Denis. I think he's gonna try and drown Dariush early and get him out of there as quickly as possible with a bunch of strikes. I think it's gonna be similar to the Thiago Moises fight, although I'm not sure Benny's gonna really try and fight that fight. More takedowns, I guess I'll go with Dariush because I think that's probably his path if he has a path. Try and recreate what happened with Moicano, but unlike the Moicano fight, I don't think BSD is really going to be like, yeah, I'm going to try and clinch with this guy and get this fight on the ground. Like I don't think it's going to be happening. So, yeah, BSD, I think he's going to maul Benil Dariush on the feet. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates. More takedowns, Leon Edwards. I like that a lot. I don't really think Prates is going to be going for any takedowns here. Then more 6 strikes. I think it's going to be close. So, like, I'm going to go Leon because I imagine that's going to be the plus odds. But it's going to be close either way, in my opinion. And I think Leon will get the top time. So if he lands any big things, possibly that. But it's going to be close, in my opinion. Sean Brady, Michael Morales. Probably Sean Brady more takedowns. And I guess Michael Morales more 6 strikes. Because I think maybe Michael Morales can land a good amount of 6 strikes early on. And as the fight goes on, Brady's going to be holding top position. But yeah, it's just guesswork. But definitely more takedowns Brady, because I don't really see Michael Morales trying to take down Sean Brady. Like, I don't know why he would do that. But more 6 strikes. I think there can be an argument for Brady because he can't throw a bunch of volume, to be fair. Valentino Shevchenko, Zhang Wei Li. More takedowns. I'm gonna end up going with Valentina because I think she'll be more willing to go to that realm, and I think she'll have more success as being the bigger girl. More 6 strikes. I think it's going to be lean Valentina, but I'm not crazy about it because she's not the most volume. She's not the girl with the most volume in the world, to be honest. But I think she's going to slow down Weili's volume as a result. So that's why I'm leading with Valentina to be able to do that. Then JDM, Islam Makhachev. I think JDM 6 strikes. I think he's going to be able to land a bunch. Islam Makhachev, more takedowns. I think he's going to be the only one looking for any takedowns in this fight. So, yeah. Those are the picks for me. So, yeah, if my computer can work, save that real quick. And yeah, that's the card. I'm super excited for this card. It's a banger. We will be there. Yeah, you can check me out at BetMMA.tips, Champ Bets, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great one. I'll see you again next time. There's another card, which I believe is the Armin Saruki and Dan Hooker card in Qatar, which is another fun one. Can't wait to get into that one as well. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Have a great one.